Hello, I am the Greek Geek because I'm 50% Greek and 100% a geek. My Hero Academia. You know I've loved season 1 and 2, and as you might have guessed, I absolutely loved My Hero Academia season 3 as well. I loved the focus on the villains in this. Well, not the focus, but we got a lot more of the villains, and I love supervillains in a superhero TV show or movie. So, there is so much to love in this season. Let's get into it. Class 1A continues their training and must undergo more intense training from the Pussycat Dolls. Meanwhile, the villains grow bolder and bolder and attack the class. Again, and All Might is forced to confront his number one nemesis, All For One, in one final epic climactic battle. And afterwards, everyone participates in another tournament arc because, Shonen Anime, and everyone gets their time to shine in this season. Straight out of the gate, more villains are added to the roster. We've got Darby, we've got Toga, we've got Twice, Mr. Compress, Muscular, Mustard, Moonfish, Spinner, and Magne. Some are much more interesting than others, but I am just glad to see more villains with some very interesting superpowers. And we finally get to see the big bad of it all, the man pulling the strings behind the scenes the whole time, All For One. And with our heroes, more characters get their time to shine, particularly during the villain assault on Class 1A and B when they're training up in the mountains with the Pussycat Dolls. Don't you wish your girlfriend was hot like me? And during the tournament arc, which takes place a bit later against Shiketsu High and other high schools. We see other schools and for heroes, and that's interesting. And Shiketsu High even rivals UA. You think UA is the best, but now you're like, hey, are they? There's other really good schools out there. And particularly, we expand more on Class 1B. We get to see more of their characters and they get some more stuff to do. So it's good that with every season, with our knowledge already growing with all the characters that we already know, new ones get sprinkled throughout every season and there's more ones to love. Characters that we already know and love are expanded upon as well. Like, for example, the whole reason for the villain attack was to kidnap Bakugo in order to kidnap him to turn him to the dark side and make him join the villains because they saw how violent he can be. And if I was watching this show for the first time, I would think, yeah, clearly this guy is going to be evil because he's so bloody violent all the time. But it doesn't go there. It's because Bakugo just has a different way of doing things. That's why he's more violent and thinks he needs to be the best. And the only way to do that is to become more powerful. And we see another tournament arc, which introduces even more characters. And we actually see them doing some rescue training and trying to rescue people, which is a nice touch because being a hero isn't all about trying to defeat villains. And we get some really nice scenes between Midoriya and Bakugo as well, which develops their growing mutual respect for each other. So world building on the world, we see that the villains are getting more organized. We see them go, hey, we need some more powerful villains. Let's make a smaller elite squad of villains, which is the Villain Vanguard Action Squad. So that's fantastic. We see more Nomus with different powers. That's always good to see. And All For One, finally, with all of his quirks and just how powerful he can be. And more on All Might, his power, his history, who he learned from, and more on his teacher, Nana Shimura, who held the power before All Might. And it's good to see that after All Might finally uses up the rest of his power and he is no longer the symbol of peace, that there's actually a fallout from that. Villains start getting more ballsy and start doing more, crime rates rise, and that's naturally what's going to happen. This season has some of the best action sequences in the anime so far. Just the fight between All Might and All For One is just absolutely batshit insane. Just the sheer tremendous displays of power, All Might punching, sending shockwaves, All For One not really caring, just blocking things and just showing off all these powers that he has, like being able to shoot concentrated bits of air, super strength, super speed, being able to sense where people are, being able to use other people's powers and control their bodies, just absolutely amazing. And seeing All Might struggle against him and using the last embers of One for All against All for One, and using One for All to use one final attack against him, which is the United States of Smash, which is just one of the most epic moments in all of anime history, in my opinion. It is that epic.
United States of
And our students get to see where their journey is going to lead them to being the most powerful heroes of the world. There's some great themes in this season. For example, the first intro for this season is easily my favorite intro of the entire series so far. It is really good. There's some fantastic themes in here, particularly the All Might versus All for One theme that plays when All Might and All for One are facing off in their final battle against each other. It is just so epic, and I'll leave a link in the description down below so you can listen to it for yourself. Rating, another great season of My Hero Academia. Stakes are raised, learn so much more about more characters. A lot happens in this season, and there are so many epic moments, and please just start watching My Hero Academia. Start from season 1 and watch it. It is a fantastic anime TV series. And as always, thank you for listening to me ramble on about an anime TV show for a few minutes. I do appreciate it. Thank you again, and I'll catch you next time.